Let's start with WePow's pre-recorded solution. What you're looking at is the inside of the platform, essentially the recruiter view. Let's start by building an interview. In the interest of time, let's clone an existing interview. You can build an entire interview from this one interface. We'll start by changing the title. So let's put in a title. We can set a deadline. The deadline feature can either be based on individual deadlines. So if I invite a candidate today, they have X amount of days to complete an interview. We're going to put 7 days. Alternatively, I could put a fixed deadline, and that would set a specific date where the candidate had to complete the interview by. We'll go with candidate individual deadline. If we come down to the timeline view, these are the core components of a WePow interview. Here in purple, we have our promotional career videos. These are the first thing that a candidate will see when they initially click on your link to complete the interview. Oftentimes, organizations will put a career video, an ad, something fun to keep the candidate engaged. Forms are an optional part of WePow. Organizations sometimes include forms to ask knockout-style questions. So these are multiple choice questions asking things such as, are you willing to relocate? Yes, no. What languages do you speak? The great thing about using forms is that when your recruiters are reviewing candidate responses, you can filter the responses by how people responded on the forms. Next, in orange, we have what we call transition videos. Transition videos are extremely flexible in WePow. You can have a transition video as an introduction, so welcome from the recruiter, the hiring manager, or maybe even the president of your company. Oftentimes, our clients will use transition videos to bookend the interview. So as a quick introduction and as a thank you at the end of the interview. Of course, you can be as flexible and creative as you'd like. You could have a transition video in the middle of an interview. Maybe your video is an office tour, or it could even be in a scene with actors acting a specific situation that a candidate would have to deal with in real life. And you can ask them how they'd respond to that. In blue, we have our questions. So the way questions work in WePow is that you record yourself asking the question. That really helps to humanize the experience. Candidates are able to see somebody within your organization speaking to them. This is often the recruiter or the hiring manager. After recording your question, you can set an amount of time to think. So typically our clients will put 20 seconds to think and a set amount of time to respond. So this sets the limit for how long candidates have to actually respond to their questions. We'll put 2 minutes. You can also have questions that are written responses, where you type out the question and you're asking the candidate to type out their response. WePow questions or any content you put in WePow is saved into your research library. So if I want to pull new questions, I don't have to record them every time. I can pull from my library by simply clicking on a question and it gets added to my interview. You can add tags to your questions to make sure that you're focused on different competencies or pulling questions for specific roles. Lastly, we have what we call documents. So you're able to request various documents to be uploaded at the end of an interview. So as an example, you can ask for a cover letter, a portfolio, or even a list of references. That's it. You can build an entire interview from this one interface, and everything WePow can be dragged and dropped into different sections. Let's go ahead and hit done. Next, let's invite our candidates. You can do this in a number of ways. Inviting candidates is as simple as typing the candidate's email, name, and you can optionally add their phone number. By adding the mobile phone number, you'll be able to send them text message invitations. Don't worry, you don't have to add every candidate individually. You can import from an Excel file, making it a lot easier. Also, for each interview, we have what we call a public link. So if you go to the settings menu, you're able to use this public link to invite a candidate via social media by sending a link to this via your own email message or by posting this online directly in the job posting.